This is a message for our Premier, Daniel Andrews. Premier Dan, you do a good job. I really like your government. I love what you do for fishing here in Victoria. You've removed launching fees from boat ramps. You've allowed boats and kayaks on waterways where they never used to be allowed. You've promoted fishing through the Target 1 million. The fisheries, the government, you all do a great job. But now with this COVID-19, we can't go fishing. Now, I think the time has come for you to lift the fishing ban with restrictions, which I'll talk about shortly, so that we can still go out and wet a line. You see, Victoria at the moment, as I believe, is the only state that's banned fishing. In other states, even New South Wales, people can still go fishing in their local area. They're not allowed to travel around and go off on holidays, but they can fish close to home, and we can't. Now, at first, when fishing was first banned, I applauded. I thought it was the right thing to do. COVID-19 numbers were on the rise, things were getting dire. But over the last 2 weeks, everything's come down, and it's come down a long way. But that alone isn't the reason that I'm asking for this ban to be lifted. At the same time, in New South Wales, where fishing hasn't been banned and people can still go fishing, their numbers have also come down. In fact, numbers are coming down all around the place as we flatten the proverbial curve and everything's coming down and everything's getting better. So I'm not asking for just open the floodgates, but I think it would be great if the Victorian government could just lessen the restrictions a little bit, so that people that enjoy solo sports like fishing, golf, shooting, hunting can go out on their own and do those things just the same as they can in other states, such as New South Wales. Now, I'm a former truck driver. I used to drive trucks for a little while. Only a heavy rigid, but I drove a heavy rigid, and because it was a heavy vehicle, I had to carry a logbook. In my logbook, I had to specify a driver base, which was where the truck was parked and where I went to and from, or my workstation, had a driver base. Part of the conditions of having a logbook and driving a heavy vehicle is that if I drive more than 100 kilometres, I have to complete my logbook. But if I stay within a 100 kilometre perimeter of my driver base, I don't have to fill out the logbook. I just have to carry it. Surely we can implement some kind of a strategy with the same with fishing. Our driver base could be our address on our driver's licence. Mine is in Wangaratta. Maybe we can drive up to 10 kilometres from our driver base. Maybe we can drive up to 10 kilometres from the address on our driver's licence so that we can still wet a line. If we can enforce that type of law with logbooks on trucks, surely we can enforce that type of law with golf and fishing and other recreational activities. It might make it 30 kilometres so that hunters can get out the bush and go for a shot. I just think now it's not the time to open the floodgates. I believe you guys and I fully understand that, but I think it is the time just to back off on a couple of things, because mental health crisis is going to grow enormous if people can't get out and release mental tension doing the things that they love. For me, I'm just missing being at the bush. I want to go for a drive up into the Warby Ranges and go bushwalking. A lot of people are doing it, but I was told by the police that you're not allowed, so I haven't been. But if you can lift those restrictions and give us a buffer, say 20 kilometres or something, so that we can go out and pursue solo activities away from people, then it's going to decrease the risk of mental health illnesses, domestic violence, marriage bust-ups, etc., while not really increasing the risk of spreading the coronavirus. If the virus was getting a lot worse still and the numbers were still climbing at a much faster rate, I would continue to support the rule that's in place now as I did when it was first announced. But given that everything's settled quite a lot, and I just think it's a good time to lift the ban, or just back it off a little bit. I'll tell you what, 500 metres that way is the river that I fish in all the time. I can walk down there. I walked down there with my camera the other day on my daily exercise. I took some photos of the river, but I didn't have a fishing rod because I'm not allowed. I just think if we can just relax it enough, just so that people can start getting out, it'll help the economy, it will help people's mental health, it'll lead to a decrease in domestic violence, marriage bust-ups and suicides, and I just think that it's not going to really have too much of an impact on the COVID-19 situation. And if it does, well then surely you can just bring it back in again and say, okay, look, the numbers are going up, let's ban it again for a while. I think we've got to do something pretty soon because a lot of fishermen are going stir crazy.